Welcome back to another podcast episode of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I'm your host, Jon Kovach Jr., the founder of Champion Circle Networking Association. I am really excited to have this conversation today and to introduce to you guys some new friends of mine. I just met them, and I'm really excited to perpetuate and to disseminate the information that they have, as well as to help them go to market and share some of the stuff that they're doing all over the world. As we were playing the intro, I saw both John and Mark in the back, what we call the green room, dancing to the music and getting really jazzed and excited for this. So let me read that introduction so that they can come on screen, and let's just really dive into these people because they are amazing. I want to introduce you both to John and Mark X. Cronin. They are the father and son team that founded John's Crazy Socks, a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness. John is an entrepreneur and a Special Olympic athlete who just happens to have Down syndrome. And I'm really pumped to get more into more of their story because, guys, as we talk more with these guys, John's Crazy Socks was inspired by John Lee Cronin, a young man with Down syndrome, and his love for colorful and fun, awesome, crazy socks, what he calls his crazy socks. And he and his father, Mark Cronin, started the company as a social enterprise with a mission of spreading happiness. They do this by offering socks people can love that allows an expression of one's true self. More than half their employees have a differing ability. Their Giving Back program has raised over $475,000 for charity partners like the Special Olympics, the National Down Syndrome Society, and the Autism Society of America. These guys are impressive and impactful, and I can't wait to get more into their story. John and Mark, thank you for joining me on the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I am super excited. How are you doing today, John?
Wow, thank you, John. Thank you for being here. Wow, this is a great intro.
We love it. This is great. Love the energy, John.
Love it.
Good. Right? I'm excited.
I got two Johns I got to deal with.
Yeah, and later, and I'm going to mention about that.
You're going to mention about that? Okay.
All right. John. Right. It's so great to have you guys here. I'm excited to dive into your story. John's Crazy Socks came to be, and I want to interview you a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to talk about the story. How did John's Crazy Socks become a company? How did you guys start this, and what's the story behind that?
Well, thanks for asking, John, because you're right. Origin stories matter. That's what gives us our DNA. And we know a lot of your listeners, they're starting their business, and it's always good to know where that comes from. And first, let me start by telling you a bit about my partner, John.
Yes, sir.
So you are an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
Now you're a sock tycoon.
Yes.
You're a public speaker.
Yes, I am.
You raise and donate money. You're a philanthropist.
Yes.
You're a dancer.
Yes.
No way.
You're an actor.
Yes, I am.
You're a good friend.
Yes, I am.
You got a girlfriend, so that makes you a boyfriend.
A boyfriend, yes.
And in addition to all that, you have Down syndrome.
Yes, I am. I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome never hold me back.
And this is important, John, because yes, this John has Down syndrome, but that doesn't define him. He is all these other things. So our story, and this is relevant to how and why we got started. We've been in business now a little over 5 years, so you have to go back to the fall of 2016.
A long cabin.
And the story starts right in a small log cabin in the woods. No. It starts on suburban Long Island outside New York City. And where were you, pal?
I was at Huntington High School. Going to be my last year of school.
And John was like everybody else, trying to figure out, what do I do when I'm done with school?
Right.
And what were you looking at?
I like a job program in school. I don't like the option I don't like.
He didn't see any options, couldn't find meaningful work. And unfortunately, that's too much of a reality for people with differing abilities. The numbers will tell you that the unemployment rate for someone with a disability in the U.S. is double the national average. but that doesn't tell the real story. Fewer than 1 in 5 people with a disability are employed.
Wow.
It's an awful situation. But this John here, he is a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
If you didn't see a job you wanted, what were you going to do?
I want to create one. I want to make one.
And what'd you tell me?
I said I want to go into business with my dad. A nice father and son business together.
So John, I don't know about you, but I'm a lucky man. I've got 3 sons.
Yes, you are.
And this is one I can work with. So, but you work a lot with entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs all have a lot of ideas, and some of them are even good ideas. So we had to come up with an idea. What type of business would we run?
Right.
What was one of your suggestions?
One of them is a food truck. I got an idea from the movie Chef, John Favreau. The movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
Wow.
And this seemed like a fun idea, right? We were thinking, what could we make? Where would we put it? But we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah. But then, right before the U.S. Thanksgiving, in late November, John had his eureka moment.
I did. I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful. It's creative. I'll always let me be me.
Wow.
John wore these crazy socks his whole life. We used to drive around looking for them. So we figured this. If John loved them that much, surely other people would too, and
Right.
we could find our tribe. So now we have the idea, and you work with a lot of businesses, you help a lot of folks. Traditionally, what people do at that point is they stop everything to prepare that detailed business plan. That's not what we did. We went the lean startup route. We said, let's just get something up and running, and the customers will tell us whether or not this is a good idea. So we built a website. We built it on the Shopify platform.
I come out with a name, I come out with a website, I come out with ideas.
You had the name. We got a little inventory. We're bootstrapping. So you got to make do with what you have. The only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page, and I would take out my cell phone, and we made videos.
Cool.
And who do you think was in those videos?
I am. I'm talking about socks. Socks, more socks.
And we noticed something. People started sharing those videos. What day did we open?
We opened on a Friday, December 9th, 2016.
We didn't know what to expect, John. But we were very fortunate. That first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. We got 42 orders. And most of them were local, which made sense, right? It's where people knew us. So what did we decide to do with those orders?
I decided to do a home delivery. We get a rip box like this.
Wow.
And I put a sock in the box. I need something else to put in it. I put in a different number I wrote. I got candy. I get Hershey Kisses.
Right, we got bags of Hershey's Kisses and poured them in the box.
Yep.
Loaded up the car and drove around, and you knocked on doors delivering socks.
You did.
How'd the customers respond?
Customers loved it. They took a picture and shared on social media. A word I guess a spread.
We had customers ordering again just to get John to come back to their house. And there was some nights we're out at 10 o'clock at night, and John's knocking on doors saying, just John with your socks, don't shoot. But there is something there that we can, share with your audience, right? We have an aesthetic that still runs through today. Ready, fire, aim. Don't overthink things, take action, and you're going to learn by doing. So simply by taking that approach, we learned a few things, right?
Right.
One,
people want to buy socks. Two, people want to buy socks from me.
they wanted to buy from John. They related to John.
Yes.
They loved the personal touch, the thank you notes, the candy. They liked the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. And something that surprised us and kind of caught us off guard. We got very emotional responses from people who had a family member who had Down syndrome or autism.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, you learn by doing. I had never worked in retail before. I had never run a warehouse before, even though at that point we didn't really have a warehouse. But you learn by doing. So we learned that this young man,
Yeah, this is old man.
and this old man, he can sell socks.
Yes.
So, that's how we got up and going.
I love this. I love the story, and I want you to know you guys are already just making an influence over my listeners. I've got a friend here named Josh Berglund, an amazing coach and consultant here in the United States, and he's commenting live. I love this so much. And by the way, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all of the private Facebook channels that I operate to. And you're also live on TikTok today.
We better be on our best behavior then, pal.
Okay, Dad, you didn't listen, man.
Also, blessings to all of you is being said in the live chat today. But man, thank you for telling me the background, and I am so impressed. What a fascinating experience. Now, everybody knows that it's not easy to run a business. It can be very simple, but it's not easy. Have there been some trials and maybe some challenges in starting or getting the business running, other than having to go knock doors? What's been some of the biggest struggles that you've overcome while building the business?
Well, let's put this in a little perspective. We're now a little more than 5 years old. We went from a point where all of the socks we had we could put on one table. How many different socks do we have now?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
4,000, which means John owns the world's largest sock store. And, another perspective, we've now shipped over 375,000 packages to 88 different countries. But if we get an order between our office and our home, what are you doing?
I did do home deliveries.
So I tell you that. You asked the question, did we face challenges? If you're going to own a business, it is not a question of will things go wrong. It is only a question of when will they go wrong. And some of them are relatively simple and some of them are big. So I'll give you some simple ones. We already told you that we opened on Friday, December 9th. What time were we going to open?
We're going to open at 10 in the morning.
But 10 in the morning, what happened?
Our website crashed. This is all my dad.
The website crashed because the webmaster, and that was me, screwed something up in the code. So we opened up in the afternoon. And then we had very limited inventory. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't have a lot of funds. We sold so many things the first 2 days that we were running out. So we needed to have something to sell. We drove to every Kmart in Suffolk County and bought all the socks they had just so we would have something to sell. Or you come along, little things like we told you we put Hershey's Kisses in the packages. And we do that. To this day, we put candy in every package. But and everybody loved the Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah.
Until we got the email.
Yeah, we got the email from the woman down south.
Down in Florida saying,
Florida,
you can't be sending chocolate through the mail to the south because it's melting. But then we had bigger issues. Our first 2 years, we grew and really scaled the business through a combination of design, but also good fortune of some viral events and some extensive media coverage. But you can't count on all that. Mm-hmm. So our third year, we knew things would come down. Our first 2 years, we had big numbers and we made profits. Though by the end of the second year, we still had no money. And I asked my accountant, how come, on paper we've made money and I've got nothing in the bank? He said, Mark, let's take a walk into your warehouse. There it is. It's all your inventory. And so we were undercapitalized. And that hurt us. It'll sound counterintuitive to people, but rapid growth is very expensive. So we really struggled in our third year. And I know there are business owners out there that can relate to this. We're running out of money. We're out of money. I'm borrowing just to pay payroll. And by the end of the year, we thought we'd come back at the holiday season. We didn't have money. We didn't have the ability to buy inventory. So by the end of the year, we had let everybody go. And for all intents and purposes, we were bankrupt. I remember talking to a bankruptcy law firm and they're telling me, well, you clearly have to declare bankruptcy, but our fee, you have to pay it up front, and it's $50,000. I'm like, guys, if I had $50,000, I wouldn't be talking to you. The good news is, after kissing a lot of toads and listening to people make, offer to buy or invest, and it was awful. We didn't want to sell the business. We found a strategic partner who shares our values, who was committed to what we're doing. It's a third generation family business that manufactures socks for department stores and brand names. So that's really helped us a lot. So when you look at the challenges and problems, you get little things like a problem with the website, and you get bigger things like finances.
Yeah.
But you're always going to run into challenges. Consider this. Who planned for a pandemic?
Right.
And yet, to kind of paraphrase the movie, there's no crying in business.
Mm-mm.
It's a matter of, okay, how are we going to figure this out? How are we going to move forward?
Man, I love these examples, and I appreciate that. And I know my listeners are going to appreciate it too, because no matter what stage of business, there are always going to be challenges, but sometimes the littlest thing can lead to the biggest thing. And that's, I'm so proud of both of you for the steps you took to overcome that challenge. And now look, you're thriving. You're finding opportunities to support organizations. You're all over the world. People can order socks. I've got a few sock questions for you, but I want to give you guys an opportunity to talk more about, what nuggets of knowledge we could share with my audience. But before that, I want to ask John, out of all the thousands of crazy socks designs, what are your favorite crazy socks?
My favorite sock is a Donald Trump superhero socks. I did one of my designs.
Oh, I'll show it. Go ahead. You talk about it.
I did one of my designs. And I'm going to show you up I look like. I look closely. I am a superhero. Those are my favorite socks.
So you wear different socks every day, right?
Every day.
Because when you're a sock tycoon, people are always asking, what are you wearing?
Right. And I can tell people.
Go ahead.
Every weekend. Only on the weekend, on the Saturday and Sunday.
When you're off from work.
I off from work. I'm wearing a poop emoji socks.
Poop emoji socks. Because you could take the boy out of junior high, but you can't take the junior high out of the boy.
Oh, I have so many socks now that I want to order. I also love superhero socks. I'll tell you this, John.
Yes.
When I speak on stages all around the world, because I'm a motivational speaker, I wear socks that have superheroes on them because I want to feel super that day when I give speeches. Now I know exactly where I'm going to go to get my new superhero socks. So thank you. I also really love, and it's kind of a geeky thing, but I love dinosaurs. Do you have any socks that have dinosaurs on them?
Yeah, I do. I do have a dinosaur. A Happy You Exist.
Well, Happy You Exist
socks.
We have lots of dinosaur
I have
socks.
a lot.
In fact, we were looking at new designs yesterday for new dinosaur socks. That's one of the things that you'll find in many businesses is you'll see the 80-20 rule apply,
Yeah.
where
Right.
20% of your products account for 80% of your revenue. That's not what we have. We have the long trail, and that's why we have so many offerings, because people want to personalize it.
Right.
You want dinosaur socks, but maybe you also want socks that deal with food. So we have foodie socks and
Foodie.
pet rescue socks, and you can't just say here's one pair for everybody.
Mhm.
You got to have socks that each person can find and relate to.
I love that, and I agree with that. And I want to thank you, John and Mark, because as a man who used to work in the corporate world and now owns several of his own businesses, it's really important for a man to not only look good when they're doing their stuff, but also women too, as they're taking the time to look good and to feel good, something that's going to make them feel good and perform well at whatever business or whatever job they're at. It's great to have confidence in your socks. And not only do the socks have to be crazy awesome and make you feel good, but I bet your socks are extremely comfortable.
They are. Listen, we can talk about, you mentioned before, we have a social enterprise. And what's our mission?
Spreading happiness.
Spreading happiness. We have a social enterprise. So we have both a social purpose and a business purpose, and they feed off of each other. So we can talk about hiring and people with different abilities and showing what they can do and are giving back. But at its core, we have to run a great sock business.
Yeah.
We sell, direct to consumers. So we have to have a great website. We have to have great selection. That's why we have the 4,000.
Exactly.
Socks. We have to have great products. We have over 29,000 five-star reviews. 96% of the reviews we get are five-star reviews. And we have to have great service. We do same-day shipping. An order comes in today, it's going out today. We do better shipping than Amazon. But that guy over on Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he's not putting a thank you note and candy in his package.
No.
But you got to, so when you ask, are they good socks? You got to have them. But at the end of the day, we're not really a sock store. The socks become the physical manifestation for the story and the mission. And what we hear from customers all the time, and it's so wonderful, is when I'm putting your socks on, they make me feel so good. They make me happy. They give me energy because, it gets into, we're working with our customers. We're not just looking for transactions. We're building connections. We're building relationships. So when, if you buy from us, John, when you get an order of socks from us, yes, you're going to get great socks. You're getting socks you can't get anywhere else. But you also help us employ people with different abilities. More than half of our workforce has a different ability. You help us give back, right? That number you mentioned, 475, is now over $500,000.
Wow.
Most of all, you help us spread happiness. So you become part of that. Each of our customers becomes a philanthropist and an advocate. Of course you feel good.
Man, I thank you for sharing that, and I'm really excited to dive into more of the concept of employing people with differing abilities and talking more about that. But congratulations, and what an awesome success! I now have my new favorite sock company, and I know exactly where I'm going for all my future speeches. And I can't wait to share this with everyone I know, because this is an incredible story that both you have. Now I'm really touched by just what you guys are doing and how you're helping other people. And let me ask you, John and Mark, do you guys like pizza?
I love pizza.
What's your favorite type of pizza?
Oh, I do a type of pizza I really like. Like I like chicken pizza. Like I like different toppings, like different kinds, like barbecue ones.
Barbecue chicken, huh?
Barbecue chicken, something.
right? We're in New York, and New Yorkers sometimes get, we get uppity about our.
I was gonna say, you guys have a very particular taste, but you know what? I've had New York pizza. It is some of the best in the world, if not the best. And I'll tell you something. I was driving on the freeway one day.
Yeah.
And I passed a company which you may or may not like, but they're called Mod Pizza. Mod Pizza is a company based on the West Coast, and they build pizzas for you. And it's not New York style, but they've got good toppings. And the Mod Pizza motto, their mission, is we make pizzas to serve people. And your mission is we aren't a sock company. We are spreading happiness. And I say that the top companies in the world get it. And you guys are one of those top companies that say, you know what? Yeah, we have crazy, awesome socks, but we're doing this to make people happy. And we are spreading happiness. And that is a mission worth telling. That is something that people need to know. So I appreciate that, and I'm really grateful. And what a great example to my listeners who are building these businesses. A lot of entrepreneurs go into business because they're like, I need to make money, and I have this goal or I have this passion, and then they get into the business and they deal with the finances and all that stuff. But they've got to create a mission, and I love that you guys created that mission. And I have to ask you, why was happiness your choice to create the mission of happiness?
Well, it was really driven by John. It was his inspiration. And what do you say happiness is all about?
All about gratitude and do for others.
So we built a business on gratitude and do for others. But I agree wholeheartedly with you, John. You have to know who you are and what you're about. And there's got to be some purpose that's greater than ourselves. And it can't just be we want to make money. And don't get me wrong, we want to make money. It turns out we like to live indoors. You got to pay for that. And we are a for-profit. If we're not making money, then everything else closes down. But there's got to be some larger purpose. And that will make you more sustainable. It will give you the ability to adapt if a pandemic comes along.
Yeah.
So that's very important to us. Know your mission, know your values. We've built our business on 5 pillars, and I could walk through those with you. But what has to happen, you got to believe. You got to have that conviction so that mission, that purpose is made manifest in everything you do. And it affects, for us, it's not just words on a wall. Though we have the words on the wall. We have a big neon sign when you walk in the place. It drives our strategy. It drives the decisions we make on how we answer the phone, on the colors of the walls that we paint in our office. It all comes back to that. Are we living up to what we say matters? Right? And when you're doing that, the petty stuff all falls away.
Yeah.
We're not in competition with others. Oh, we know others that sell socks and what they're doing, and we're aware of that. But in the end, we have to live up to our purpose and mission.
I think that's an important principle to share with you guys. And speaking of values, I know that your time is valuable. So I want to ask you just a couple more quick questions. I want to get into a little bit of the nuggets of knowledge that you want to share with my listeners, and what action steps you would challenge my listeners to take in their entrepreneurial journey. And then let's talk about how they can go and grab some amazing, awesome socks and learn more about you guys and get involved in some of the projects that you're working on. But I really appreciate the both of you in this awesome conversation. And I know that values are just part of the process to create happiness and joy for other people, because your mission is going to influence other people's missions. So my question to you is what is a nugget of knowledge that you think the world needs to know? Something that anybody can teach or anyone can learn and also apply in their lives today?
Well, for me, I'll go first.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
It's know who you are, know what the values you have are, and then you have to have the conviction of those. And that will drive through everything you do. So, if you will, let me use an example.
Of course.
One of our 5 pillars is to make it personal. Any way we can to connect with our customers at a personal level. What I mean by having conviction about that is then you always have to look for every opportunity. So, yes, every package to this day gets a handwritten thank you note from John and candy as a way of saying thank you to our customers. But here are some other examples in which it carries out. So we do our own fulfillment. We run our own pick and pack warehouse. And one day, one of our happiness packers comes to us and says, hey, guys, we sell socks for diabetics, right? These high compression socks. And we're sending them candy. What's wrong with that picture?
Mm.
And so now we have a supply of sugar-free candy that we send to our customers.
Wow.
Here's another way. We have our happiness creators. They're the folks that respond to customer communications. So if it's a phone call, they have no scripts. We don't make up scripts. We don't time phone calls, because what we're looking for is to make a connection, have a human conversation, and help the people that call. Or email. Your listeners, if they own a business, they know your email list is incredibly important. You own that list. And your customers are trusting you when they give you their email. So how do you use it? Well, our thing, we want to make it personal. How do you connect with people? So here's a little inside thing. You'll know this. Every time we send out an email, we get a little blip in sales. So it's very tempting to send out a lot of emails. And so there are some companies, I get 4 emails a day from them. Nobody wants 4 emails a day.
Nope.
So, so that's one where you're looking to make that connection and establish a relationship for the long haul, not just an immediate transaction. So for our campaigns, we send out 2 emails a week. One will probably be around some event or product that we have. But the other one that goes out every Friday is an email from
me.
It's just an email from John with an update of what he's doing. We're not selling anything. We're not promoting anything. And what happens? Well, you measure, one of your metrics is measure open rates. We have a 43% open rate for our emails, which is really, really high. If you're doing 20%, you're doing great. Why? Because we're engaging with customers. We're not viewing them simply as a transaction and somebody that's going to give us money. And that becomes sustainable in the long run. So I hope that's enough of you have to start with the belief, and you got to have the conviction, and then it becomes manifest in everything you do. But I know you have advice for people.
I do. Follow your heart. Follow your dreams. Work hard. So you can do.
Brilliant. And I love it. Thank you so much for sharing those principles. And I think that those are applicable principles that my listeners can take immediate action on. I want to point my listeners towards you guys, and I want them to go check out your crazy socks, and I want them to learn as much as they can. So you guys need to go and learn more and follow John and Mark X. Cronin with John's Crazy Socks at www.johns crazysocks.com. And you guys were very, very generous. And thank you for sending my listeners a discount code, which gets them 10% off their socks purchases. Use the code CIRCLE22 at the website johnscrazysocks.com, and you'll get a 10% discount off your purchase of your awesome crazy socks. Now, I'm going to purchase a couple pairs today, and I'm going to show them off in my next podcast episode, and I'm going to make sure people know about this stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Well,
Ron.
and it's like we said before, when you're buying those socks, you help us employ people with different abilities. We've been very fortunate. We created 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities. Right? You help us give back. Among the giving back, John here has now donated over $100,000 to the Special Olympics.
Wow.
It's more than any Special Olympic athlete has ever done. But mostly you're going to help us spread happiness. And people can also connect with us on our social media platforms, particularly Facebook, Instagram, and you love doing
TikTok. Yes.
Yeah, TikTok.
We have a couple of special things. One, we now have a podcast, the Spreading Happiness podcast with John and Mark, 30 minutes a week of just us bantering, bringing people up to date, telling some jokes.
Yep.
You bring people up to date on your love life.
Yes.
But it's designed to make people smile and feel good. Give you 30 minutes of pleasure a week. And we can also invite people. What do you do every Tuesday afternoon?
Every Tuesday, I host a dance party every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time.
An online dance party. Come join a Zoom dance party with John. You'll get 100 people dancing on Zoom. Just, right? Our mission is to spread happiness during a pandemic. People are isolated. Come on together. Let's go dance.
Wow. I love it. I can't wait to jump on one of those, and thank you so much. And obviously, guys, go and follow John's Crazy Socks on social media. I know they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, I think you're on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so much more. I'm really, really excited about all that. And I want to add on one more question. John, what sports do you play?
I play basketball, track and field, soccer, and snowshoe.
Wow. And do you do all of those at the Olympics?
Yes.
Awesome.
Back right now, you're at the height of the season. So Monday nights, what do you do?
Monday night, I do basketball.
Tuesday?
Tuesday night, I do track and field. Saturday, it's tomorrow, soccer.
Soccer. We'll tell you, without the Special Olympics, there'd be no John's Crazy Socks.
Wow.
You learn so much. Teamwork.
Teamwork, discipline, sportsmanship, and how to be coached, how to be trained.
Here's something for entrepreneurs. I think you learn this in all sports, but John's learned it through Special Olympics. You learn how to lose.
Right.
You learn how to fail and get back up and keep going.
Absolutely.
Right? Because somebody once explained this to me. If you're in business, it's like being a champion in boxing.
Yeah.
The champ is the one who keeps answering the bell.
Yes.
You keep getting up.
I love that. I run a organization that's based off Olympic athletes, Olympic mindset people who are champions. And I believe in that so much. So thank you, John. Thank you, Mark, for everything you shared with my audience today. I'm so excited to send more people to John's Crazy Socks. I can't wait to connect with you more. I'll let you know in the future about future speaking engagements too, because you're a great speaker, John and Mark. And I also just really, really appreciate the sincerity and the life values. And also, you accomplished your mission today. You brought a smile to not only my face, but you brought a smile and happiness to many of my listeners. And I want to appreciate and pour into you. And thank you for doing that today. And it's as awesome as crazy cool socks and a mission to make people happy that you're achieving on a daily basis. And I think if you do that every single day, you're really, really making your mark in this world. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for inviting us on. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And this has been another awesome episode of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. If you're listening to this on the replay or the audio version, we invite you to go to all of those links in the show notes that will direct you over to John's Crazy Socks, where you can pick out his favorites and your favorites. And you know what? Just grab a couple pairs in advance for everyone for Christmas and their birthdays and the upcoming parties, because you're going to love sending them these really cool socks. With that being said, everybody, you have everything you need within you now. It's time to take immediate action with the knowledge you've received today from John and Mark Cronin. I want to say thank you guys. Take care, and thank you for joining us on the Circle of Knowledge podcast.